Hello everyone, this is Donna from Even the Scales, and I'm on my channel right now to talk about the abuse that I'm being put through in my home and when I leave my home here in Campbelltown, New South Wales. Because what I'm going through right now is inhumane, and my human rights are being abused to the absolute extreme here. So last night, the housing organisation who I pay rent to, who is St George Community Housing, they premeditated an attack on my life, and they're using a predator to do this. The person they're using is a known predator to women, and it's like they've gone out and they've found the most disgusting, vile abuser that of women that they could find, and they're using this person to put me through abuse and terrorise me in my home 24 hours a day. He can view into my home on illegal cameras to do this. And last night when I went to bed, there was a planned attack where this predator is lurking over me as I'm trying to go to sleep, and he just attacked my home with cigarette smoke. And what he does is he turns his rigged range hood on and off, and he breathes into that range hood, and everything is being diverted into my unit instead of going out through the roof. And this was a premeditated attack. This is what St George Community Housing are doing. The property manager at St George Community Housing, she is well aware of what this person is doing. I've been asking her for help for over a year, and sometimes they completely ignore my emails that I send them. She's been out to my home a few times and spoke to me about the range hoods and about the abuse I'm going through. And she actually put on an act when she came to my home, because she knows that there's cameras in my home. She's not just allowing this predator and other neighbours to view into my home to abuse me. She's also allowing random members of the community here. There's also people in the public eye viewing into my home illegally, and a lot of them are paying these abusers to put me through abuse. So she knew there was an audience the day that on the occasions when she has been out to my home, and she puts on an act for those people that are viewing into my home, watching her as I speak to her about the abuse I'm going through. She knows there's people viewing into my home illegally, and yeah, she ignores my emails. She This organisation, it's not just her, other people that work there, they view into my home illegally to come up with creative ways to put me through abuse. They've done this so many times. She was supposed to meet a contractor here at my home a few weeks ago, and she was waiting out the front, and then all of a sudden she said that she couldn't attend the appointment anymore, or the contractor couldn't attend the appointment, but it was just to get out of it. She just didn't want to face me. Something had happened that day. Maybe I put one of these videos up or something, and she didn't want to go ahead with the meeting that she had set up here with the contractor and me to look at the range hood. She took off, and she made up an excuse. So this is what she's done, and for a whole year I've been trying to get help off this woman. And I've also addressed her on my channel late last week a couple of times. I've asked her to stop these people from putting me through abuse, because there's 3 people that are joined to my unit that can control the air in my home, and they're constantly putting me through abuse night and day. And this was a premeditated attack on my life last night. There's people in the public eye viewing into my home. People that can afford to pay stalkers, people that can afford to pay people to put me through abuse. There's people from all walks of life viewing into my home. There's some kind of scam here where these people are paying stalkers, and there seems to be some kind of scam going where they're all going onto one platform to be able to view into my home and work together to be able to terrorise me. This predator downstairs, that attack that he carried out last night, that that was deliberately done to try and cause me a heart attack or a stroke, or they're trying to make me give up on life. I can't explain to you enough the feeling of dread and trauma, the traumatization of dealing with a predator viewing into my bedroom. And I don't know how many other predators there are doing this. These people can see into my bathroom as well, and I have to hold up a curtain when I use my bathroom. But these cameras have been in my home for a long time. Before I even knew there was cameras in my bathroom, there's been people in the public eye viewing into my bathroom. The Campbelltown police have been viewing into my bathroom, the corrupt members of the Campbelltown police, and then neighbours. There's neighbours here that were viewing into my bathroom, and then some of them for before I knew they were involved in this, they were viewing into my home, and I didn't know. I had no idea. Some of them would talk to me, and they were doing that, and I had no idea what they were doing behind my back. So ever since I moved here 5 years ago, the people that live around me, immediately around me, they have been involved in this. They were hired as hitmen and women to try and abuse me to death. And the three people that are joined to my unit are extremely cruel, sadistic people who have no problem with taking a life. They've proved that over and over again. This creep that's putting me through abuse that lives diagonally to me, who's doing a lot of this for attention, okay? He has a mental disturbance going on, and he is thriving off the attention he is getting from the other abusers viewing into my home illegally. He's also communicating with the abusive men that stalk my home constantly. There's constantly abusive men stalking my home in loud, fuel-consuming cars and vehicles, and they're doing that deliberately. They're deliberately creating pollution, and they're viewing into my home as well, these abusive men. And he's communicating with those men, and so are these other two neighbours that are joined to my unit. They carry out abuse together to double up on the trauma and the stress. So SGCH, who is St George Community Housing, is this landlord, well-known housing organisation. They are committing an act of terror right now. They are using terrorism tactics, and so are the Campbelltown police. The Campbelltown police were just stalking me. They've stalked me twice this morning, just to let these neighbours know that they're still involved, and it encourages these mentally disturbed people. He thinks that he is just so powerful right now, being able to do this to a woman, because, if he wasn't being paid to do this, he would still be someone who stalks women and terrorizes them, because that's who he is. They've gone out and they've found someone who does that. This is just what he does. So, and he does it. He hasn't left his home in 2 years, over 2 years now. If he has, it's only been for a second. And I think once I mentioned that on a video. So what they did, they got someone to pull up out the front and take him out for a few minutes, like just to say, as if to say, no, he does go out, look. But that was only because I mentioned it on one of these videos. He also stalks me when I go outside, when I go to my car, or when I come home, because my vehicle's being tracked as well. He stalks me and tries to intimidate me as I walk to my car. The other day, he was walking along in front of me, breathing smoke out as he walked along in front of me. And, I know this person's viewing into my home illegally, and I've got to deal with that. I've got to walk past this person outside or be near him, because he puts himself on my path as I walk to my car. And he does that deliberately, to deliberately try and provoke me. And he knows when I'm leaving my home, because he's viewing into my home. So he sees me pick up my bag and keys, and he goes outside and he'll place himself there. And then, he's been breathing smoke into my house all that day or night. And then he puts himself there right in front of me and starts breathing smoke so that it's going in my face again. And then he's speaking obscenities to me. So this is what he's doing. And he tries to intimidate me when I come home from the shop as well, sometimes. because he's tracking my vehicle. He knows when I'm on my way home. They've given a predator all this power. So yeah, he's trying to make me give up on my life or trying to cause me a heart attack. And I have a fast heartbeat, and I also suffer with sleep apnea. So there's members of the corrupt health system here that have placed a device in my body, an implant that monitors my vital signs, so that these abusers even have the power to view my vital signs as they're putting me through abuse. So if one group of them, like if the cops say they're abusing and everyone sees my heartbeat go up, um, they'll all start abusing together, these groups that are still involved. And it is the Campbelltown police. There's members of the transport system involved that are still putting me through abuse. One of them went through the town this morning and humiliated me to the whole town. And then there are these neighbours. My family members are still involved in this because of their involvement in the corruption. They're connected to corrupt cops, and they have also stolen my whole life from me, my legacy and my inheritance from me and my grandchildren. So that's why they're involved. They've purposely isolated me. So it's my family, these neighbours, this organisation, housing organisation, the Campbelltown police, corrupt members of the New South Wales Transport, and then there are these groups of abusive men that stalk my home. It's the same groups over and over, and it's been this way for months. And they're getting away with it because they're abusing their power. So, yeah, there's this implant that's been placed in my body by corrupt members of the health system where they can monitor my vital signs, and that's how they're all working together. And they must be all going on a platform to do this. There's no other way these people could be doing this. They're going somewhere on the dark web or on the internet, on an app or something like that. They play this like a game. They can view my heartbeat. They can view my devices illegally. They're watching me film this video now as I create it before I even make it to YouTube. They view my phone illegally. They track my vehicle. They also view into my vehicle illegally. There's a camera in my car. When I go out, I'm stalked by hundreds and hundreds of people on the road and at shopping centres. They're all there to try and provoke me or cause me distractions, put me through some kind of humiliation, psychological abuse, trauma, um, and it's like I'm a hostage right now. It's like I'm being held hostage because my life is so restricted. There's cameras all over my home. These people, they can view into every room in my home. There's nowhere to hide from these cameras. Same in my car. Then they're tracking my vehicle so they know everywhere I go, and that's how these people know where to go when I go out. You know, they're all going to one place to do this. There's no other way they could be doing this. And yeah, then they're viewing my phone illegally, my personal phone. Like I can't use my card online or anything like that. These people can see what I've got in the bank. They can see where I spend my money. And I'm put through ridicule all the time. I'm judged for every single thing I do. I'm put through ridicule and body shaming every time I leave the house. And I've been purposely isolated. That's the thing, you know. I'm like a hostage. My life's restricted. I can't really go anywhere because I'm stalked on the road everywhere I go. I'm stalked on the road. Some of those people try and cause me accidents or just constant distractions trying to cause me an accident. That's what they do. They try to make me look incompetent by continually causing these distractions. And now my video here is playing up, so I'm just hoping that it's going to be okay, because I want to make sure that this video gets put up on YouTube. So yeah, and you know, I can't go to anyone in the community for help because the corrupt members of the justice system make sure that everybody's involved, and so do corrupt members of the health system that are involved in this. They're holding back information about my health, things like the sleep apnea. I have conditions that could be life-threatening right now that corrupt members of the health system are holding back information about. These people that are putting me through abuse, they know more about my health conditions than I do, my health record. My privacy has been breached to the extreme. The whole community knows my health record. And they know more about the conditions that I have, and they put me through abuse in relation to those. The woman downstairs, she sends dust into my home through the night as I'm sleeping. When she turns on her rigged range hood, she can make dust fall from the roof, and it falls down on me as I sleep. And they deliberately do this to cause me breathing problems and humiliation because of the sleep apnea. I wake up gasping for air, and it makes me make this embarrassing sound, and there's people viewing into my home illegally, watching me, and I feel so humiliated, and they all see my heart rate go up, and then they see that, and then he'll start breathing smoke into my house. So this is how they're all working together somehow. They're holding back information about my health that I need to know. I can't trust anybody in the health system. I can't go and see a counsellor because I've tried to do that, to talk to counsellors about the abuse that my family's put me through and these people, and they've made sure that they're involved. I've been put through manipulation and more psychological abuse from them counsellors. And this is like, it's an MK Ultra attack on my life. That's what it is. And it's an attack on my health. Yeah, the justice system and the health system, they make sure everybody's involved in this. Everybody that I've turned to for help. I went to an organisation when I first left domestic violence, and that was in 2023, at the beginning of 2023. I wanted to get back out because I'd been very isolated when I was going through domestic violence. I've been isolated from having any friends, and I just wanted to get back out in my community because I'd moved from the South Coast to here. That's another thing. I can't just move because this followed me from the South Coast to here. I was being put through abuse from the health system on the South Coast and from the police down there. So, yeah, when I moved here from abuse, I went to an organisation for some help. And they put me through the most cruel abuse. They also breached my confidentiality, and I mean, they went to extremes to put me through abuse, absolute extremes. And this is a well-known organisation that's meant to help people. I also went to do some work for a charity organisation, just a couple of hours a week, just to get back out in my community. And that was one of the reasons, was because I had received charity when I left domestic violence. I was grateful for that, and I wanted to go and give a bit back to my community. And I wanted to meet new people, like-minded people. And I was put through very cruel abuse. I was treated really disgusting from those people, who also went to extremes to put me through abuse. So it doesn't matter where I go to. And, I've got no family as well because they're involved. Just excuse me, please. This is the dust and the cigarette smoke. I have chronic sinus as well, and it's just constantly aggravating that. It's really severe. So that's why they're doing this as well. They're doing it because of the sleep apnea. They're trying to make that worse. I also have severe PTSD. And, every time they breathe into my house or tamper with my air, I'm being traumatized. My heart rate goes up. I have a fast heartbeat. So there's all of these things they're trying to aggravate and make worse. And, more and more truth's getting out. So there's not many people that are still involved in this. So much slander and lies was spread about me by my family members and these neighbours to keep people away from me, and corrupt members of the justice system. And, the truth's getting out about all the illusions that were created around me to carry out this MK Ultra attack. And, most people have stopped putting me through abuse. But this housing organisation, they're just trying to force my death. St George Community Housing, that's because they have access to be able to tamper with my air, and they're using these mentally disturbed people who are just trying to speed my heart rate up and cause me trauma over and over and over again. They're trying to cause me a heart attack or a stroke. And, they're doing it so brazenly. I'm putting up videos every day to protect myself from this housing organisation, and they don't care. They're doing it with an audience. They're trying to kill me with an audience because, of the fact that I have no family. They've purposely isolated me. So there's no one to turn to for help. The cops here in Campbelltown are a part of an organised crime ring. And, there's corrupt ambulance drivers involved in this. And I know that for a fact because I've dealt with them twice. I was set up by ambulance drivers in this community in early 2024 and taken to hospital. And they were corrupt, those ambulance drivers. And then another time I needed an ambulance and they were corrupt as well. So I know for a fact there's corrupt ambulance drivers here in Campbelltown. They also stalk me when I go out. So they think, well, it's going to be just so easy to set me up because I have no family. There's no one to help. And they want me to be in fear. When they attack me when I'm going to sleep at night like that, they're trying to induce fear. That's what they're trying to do. So the ones that are still involved in this are the absolute cruelest people in this community. They're the only ones that are still willing to do this when they already know the truth. They know the reasons why behind this is happening. It's corruption, and they're still doing this. And a lot of these people are in the public eye, and they don't want people finding out that they're involved. So they're trying to attempt murder on my life. Every time this person breathes into my home or this woman sends dust, it is attempted murder. There's no doubt about that. So they're all working together to do this. And they thought it'd be so easy because I've got no family. And, I am like a hostage right now. I am. The only place I can go is the local shops, and even most of the organisations that I go into are involved in this. This is another thing. There's people with money. There's huge organisations, large organisations involved in this, who are have people viewing illegally into my home so that they can think up abuse when I go in there, and then they mock me. They'll mock things I do in my home, or they'll ridicule me, or they'll body shame me, or they'll do something that they've seen in my home. So every second that I am out, I'm being abused. This is a highly organised crime ring. Every second I'm out, every direction I look, when I'm driving, there's cars in front, behind, and on each side of me. When I go to the shops, it's the same. People come from every direction, and they are highly organised. It's like they're buying time slots. They're buying areas of where they'll stalk me. They're being recruited somewhere to do this. And it is so organised, and there is so many people involved in this. When I'm on the road, they'll use business logos to put me through mind abuse, or they will use number plates with words on them, and they want me to sound crazy for saying this. They do. But I think after, I think it's about 660 videos now I've got up on my channel, people believe me. People know I'm telling the truth here. So I think, people, while they may not have been ready to hear the truth when I first started talking about this on my channel, I can really understand that, because I didn't believe this was happening to me when it started happening to me. It was just such a shock to me that I was going through this, and they want me to sound crazy for saying that they're abusing me with things like number plates. They want me to look paranoid. They want me to look paranoid. That was the whole idea about using the odours and sending them through the range hoods. It was to make me look like I was schizophrenic. And they've been doing that for a long time. They were doing it back in 2023. But it's just got worse and worse and worse. The abuse of my air goes on all day, every day, and these neighbours constantly try and provoke me. They try and provoke me to cause me stress in my home so that I make mistakes in my home. So that, it used to take me about 3 hours just to get ready to go to the shops because I was just constantly fighting for my life and to breathe clean air. That's what they try and do. They're constantly trying to hold my life up. And my family members too. They're using these mentally disturbed people as well. Everybody involved in this is. They're using these mentally disturbed people to get to me. But yeah, I think people are ready to believe what I'm saying now because they know I'm telling the truth. This has gone on so long now that the scales are tipping in my favour. And they need to, because this could be happening to people in the past who didn't speak up about it. And my heart goes out to anyone who has gone through this and they didn't have help or they didn't have a voice to speak up for themselves. And I've got a lump in my throat too, and that's another thing. They don't want that to be fixed because they want the sleep apnea to get worse, and they also want me to lose my voice. So there are leaders of this town. There is no leaders here in this town that have stood up to help me. There's no leadership here, and that is because they have watched this happen. They have watched me be put through cruel abuse and torture in my home. They've also watched environmental crimes take place here in Campbelltown for going on 2 years now, and they've done nothing about it because they're worried about their reputations and being found out for watching this take place. So there's no one to turn to at all in this town for help. That's why I've had to make these videos. That's why I've had to make this channel. So the landlord would give anything to be able to get rid of me right now to cover all this up. And, they would have ambulance drivers that would be willing to help them. And they want to try and make it look like an accident. And, I'm pretty sure they were going to gas me when this first started. Because when I was living with domestic violence, I did try and cut myself once. And I regret that. And there is no way in the world I will take my life now. And, I've gone through a lot of spiritual growth since that happened. And I have a great deal of will to live. And I just want to make that clear. I have to say that all the time on my channel just so people know, because I don't know if I'm going to wake up some mornings because they've turned the gas on while I'm sleeping. These range hoods, they have gas stoves directly underneath them. And the woman downstairs from me, she has sent gas into my house on several occasions to provoke me. So that's what I mean. They're mentally disturbed people. You'd have to be mentally disturbed to do that to somebody. And two of them are women, so they're helping these men. So I've got people viewing into my home just willing death on me every day. There's, and I pick up on that. I'm a person who, I'm an empath, so I feel that hate being generated towards me or being projected towards me, and I feel the hate. And then when I go out, it's confirmed because I'm stalked by people who are just putting me through the cruelest abuse. So I've constantly got people viewing into my home, sitting there hoping that this monster downstairs is going to be able to scare me to death or cause me a mental health breakdown or a heart attack. That there's people hoping that happens. There's people paying him to do that. So there's corrupt members of the state that are responsible for this, um, and this is why it's taken me so long to get the truth out, because they're abusing their power, and they've been able to keep this covered up, for this long by just keeping me abused. So they're trying to take my life. They're trying to take my life. There's no doubt about that. And they must have been so confident about this when it started. And St George Community Housing, they still are. And these people that are putting me through abuse, they're so smug. This person downstairs that lives diagonally from me, he's so smug. And this is probably the most power he's ever been given in his life. And he's mentally disturbed. So, he's just getting power out of having that power, and he's loving the attention he's getting from people doing that. Because he's probably, look at him. He's breathing smoke into someone's house and flicking his range hood on and off. That's what he does. So he's loving the attention he's getting from people doing this. And it's so difficult. It's so difficult to have to deal with this. I don't know who's viewing into my home. I know there's people in the public eye viewing into my home. And if they're not, they're paying people to. So, one of the leaders of this town actually received an Australia Day award last year. And I really don't know how that happened, because there's been environmental crimes go on here for 2 years. And this landlord's enabling them and some of these leaders because they haven't done anything about it. And if you work or live in Campbelltown, there's no way that you could possibly not know this is going on. There's no way you could not know, with the noise abuse that's gone on here, and this because they were premeditating noise and pollution attacks, and they were using any kind of public transport or private transport that they could find to do that, including aircraft. So there's no way that they could not know this is happening. And the property manager, I'm going to ask you again, property manager, to tell this person to never breathe into my home again. I've said this to her about the last 6 times I've made a video, and she just keeps allowing it to happen. She could put a stop to it straight away if she wanted, but she knows she's going to jail too. So she keeps allowing it to happen. These range hoods, they've actually, St George Community Housing, they have a lot of contractors and people that work for them that help them. Everyone I've dealt with there for the past 27 months has been involved in this corruption, and they also have a lot of contractors and people like that help them carry out their abuse, that lie for them, carry out work for them. These range hoods, they've been rigged. Someone has got into the roof and they've rigged them so that everything gets diverted into my unit. And this dust falls from the roof. It's particles of insulation. So I don't know if that's causing me harm, my lungs harm. This morning he was breathing so much smoke into my home. I can't tolerate toxins. I used to smoke myself. I had to give up because I can't tolerate them. This is why they're doing this as well. They're doing it because they know I can't tolerate toxins, so they're just trying to fill my home with smoke all the time. This morning I had phlegm in my throat. He's breathing so much smoke into my house. So I want that to stop, property manager. I want it to stop immediately, and you can do something about it. So do your job and do something about it, instead of making excuses and stalling for time and just thinking, oh, we might be able to kill her today. let's just keep trying one more day. The police just stalked, so we know they're still there on our side. And, you know, the police, they'll just turn on their siren for a split second just to let the neighbours know that they're still involved, because they're caught too. And that's all they can turn it on for, because if they turn it on for any longer, I don't know, they might have a bigger risk of being caught in the act of what they're doing. But they're turning it on just for a second. And they have put me through some of the most cruel, vulgar abuse imaginable. And they have also, they have mocked people that have died from, that have passed away from cruel crimes. They have, they just make a mockery out of me and everything that I'm, you know, trying to get justice for. They think it's a big joke. They do. So, property manager, St George Community Housing, you are committing crimes against humanity every time you put me through abuse. You are enabling environmental crimes every time one of these stalkers goes up my street. Every time I'm stalked on the road by hundreds of stalkers, you are enabling that, St George Community Housing. You are enabling these people that have money, these people that are in the public eye, to view into my house illegally and pay, so that they can pay people to abuse me. You are enabling that. You are enabling my family members to isolate me, and my family members watch me be put through this because they've been involved in that many setups and that much abuse over the past years that they know they're probably going to jail too. And they've stolen my life from me. They've stolen everything. The abuse that I'm being put through by St George Community Housing, it doesn't just go against laws of humanity and the laws of the world laws, universal laws. It goes against universal laws as well. It goes against God's laws. So they're not only breaking laws here on earth by abusing my human rights and putting me through this cruel torture in my home. Like, this home has been purposely rigged to torture. It's a torture chamber with the cameras and the way that they can abuse my air. They're going against world laws and they're going against universal laws as well. And, you know, I'm entitled to protect my air in the best way that I possibly can, because it's just like trying to suffocate someone. That person has a right to scream for help, especially when there's no police to call, no one to help me whatsoever. So, St George Community Housing, you're caught. You're trying to murder me every time you tamper with my air. And you're committing crimes against humanity, and you are what's enabling these people. So I would appreciate it if you would tell this person to never breathe into my home again. And I've said this so many times in the past few days, and he just keeps doing it. So obviously you're not doing enough, St George Community Housing. Do something about him and these other two neighbours, because they don't just stalk me. These people hunt me in my home. They hunt me from room to room. Do something about them immediately. And thank you very much if you've listened to this video. And please, if you could help me to get justice here, please help me. It's an absolute emergency that I get help. My email will be in the description box of this video. And thanks again for listening. And thanks to the people that support my channel. You are probably what's keeping me alive right now. Thank you so much.